The history of Israel is deeply entwined with ancient biblical accounts which describe the land as the birthplace of the Jewish people. According to tradition, the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob established the first monotheistic faith in this region, setting the foundation for Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. The biblical narrative recounts the exodus from Egypt and the conquest of Canaan, portraying a divine promise of the land to the descendants of Abraham. This spiritual and historical connection has been a cornerstone of Jewish identity throughout the millennia. During the era of the Israelite kingdoms, the region witnessed the reign of Saul, David, and Solomon, marking a period of prosperity and unity. King David established Jerusalem as the capital, and his son Solomon built the first temple, a central place of worship and national symbol. The kingdom eventually split into Israel and Judah, both of which faced invasions and exiles, notably by the Assyrians and Babylonians. The destruction of the first temple and the subsequent Babylonian exile were pivotal events that shaped the Jewish diaspora. The return from the Babylonian exile led to the construction of the Second Temple and the establishment of Judea as a province under successive empires, including the Persians and Greeks. The Hellenistic period saw the rise of the Hasmonean dynasty following the successful Maccabean revolt against Seleucid oppression. However, internal strife and external pressures eventually led to Roman intervention and dominance over the region, which became known as Judea under Roman rule. Roman governance brought significant changes, including the appointment of Herod the Great as king, known for his massive architectural projects and violent suppression of dissent. The Jewish population faced increasing tensions, culminating in the Great Revolt and the subsequent destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE. This devastating event marked the beginning of a prolonged period of Jewish dispersion, with profound implications for both Jewish and world history. The modern state of Israel was formally established on May 14, 1948, a culmination of the Zionist movement, which sought to re-establish a Jewish homeland in response to centuries of persecution. The impetus for this state was also fueled by the horrors of the Holocaust, which underscored the urgent need for a safe haven for Jews worldwide. The United Nations Partition Plan of 1947 proposed dividing the British Mandate of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, a plan accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab counterparts. The Declaration of Independence by David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, marked the birth of Israel amidst immediate conflict. Neighboring Arab nations rejected the partition and launched a military intervention, leading to the Arab-Israeli War of 1948. Despite being outnumbered, Israeli forces managed to not only defend but also expand the territory initially allocated to them by the UN plan. The war resulted in significant loss and displacement on both sides, with approximately 700,000 Palestinians fleeing or being expelled from their homes in what they refer to as the Nakba, or catastrophe. The Nakba remains a deeply contentious issue in Israeli-Palestinian relations, symbolizing the enduring grievances and historical narratives of loss and injustice. Palestinian refugees and their descendants continue to seek the right to return, a demand that remains unresolved in peace negotiations. For Israelis, the War of Independence is a testament to their resilience and right to exist as a sovereign nation amid regional hostility. The creation of Israel and the resulting displacement of Palestinians set the stage for decades of conflict and complex diplomatic challenges. The nascent state faced immediate issues of integrating diverse Jewish immigrants from across the globe, each bringing unique cultural and linguistic backgrounds. This period also saw the establishment of key institutions and infrastructure that would shape the future of the Israeli state. The Six-Day War, fought between June 5 and June 10, 1967, remains one of the most significant conflicts in Middle Eastern history. Tensions between Israel and its neighboring states, Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, had been mounting due to border skirmishes, military buildups, and provocative rhetoric. Israel's preemptive strike on Egyptian airfields marked the beginning of the conflict, a strategic decision that aimed to neutralize the threat posed by the Egyptian military. Within a span of 6 days, Israeli forces achieved a stunning victory, capturing the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the Golan Heights from Syria, and the West Bank, including East Jerusalem from Jordan. This rapid territorial expansion not only altered the geopolitical landscape, but also shifted the balance of power in the region. The reunification of Jerusalem under Israeli control was particularly significant, as the city holds profound religious and historical importance for Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike. The aftermath of the Six-Day War brought about profound changes in the region. Israel's occupation of these territories introduced new challenges, including the management of a large Palestinian population and the international debate over the legality of the settlements. The war also contributed to the rise of the Palestinian national movement, as displaced Palestinians sought to assert their right to self-determination through various means, including armed struggle. Internationally, the war and its outcomes had far-reaching implications. The United Nations Security Council passed Resolution 242, which called for the withdrawal of Israeli armed forces from territories occupied in the conflict, and affirmed the right of all states in the area to live in peace within secure and recognized boundaries. Despite numerous diplomatic efforts, the issues stemming from the Six-Day War, particularly the status of Jerusalem and the occupied territories, remain central to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Yom Kippur War, also known as the October War, erupted on October 6, 1973, when a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel. The war began on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, catching Israeli forces off guard. This strategic timing allowed Egyptian and Syrian forces to make significant initial gains in the Sinai Peninsula and the Golan Heights, respectively. The initial success of the Arab forces was a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities in Israel's defense and intelligence assessments. However, Israel quickly mobilized its reserves and launched counter-offensives, eventually regaining lost territories. The war lasted until October 25, 1973, ending with a UN-brokered ceasefire. Despite the eventual Israeli military success, the war had a profound psychological impact on the Israeli public, leading to a re-evaluation of military strategies and foreign policy. The Yom Kippur War also had significant geopolitical ramifications. The conflict highlighted the superpower rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, with both sides providing military support to their respective allies. The war also led to the 1973 oil crisis, as Arab oil-producing countries imposed an oil embargo on nations supporting Israel, leading to global energy shortages and economic turmoil. In the aftermath of the war, diplomatic efforts gained momentum, leading to eventual peace negotiations between Israel and Egypt. This culminated in the Camp David Accords of 1978, where Egypt became the first Arab state to recognize Israel, and Israel agreed to withdraw from the Sinai Peninsula. The Yom Kippur War remains a pivotal event in Middle Eastern history, shaping the dynamics of Arab-Israeli relations and the quest for a lasting peace. Section 5. Lebanon invasions and the birth of Hezbollah. Israel's military involvement in Lebanon has been marked by two significant invasions, each leaving a lasting impact on the region's geopolitical landscape. The first invasion in 1982, known as Operation Peace for Galilee, aimed to expel the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO, from southern Lebanon, which had been launching attacks on northern Israel. The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, advanced into Lebanon, reaching Beirut, and effectively dismantling the PLO's military infrastructure. However, the invasion also led to unintended consequences, including the Sabra and Shatila massacre, where Lebanese Christian militias killed hundreds of Palestinian refugees. This event drew international condemnation and highlighted the complexities of Lebanon's sectarian landscape. The prolonged Israeli presence in southern Lebanon provided fertile ground for the emergence of Hezbollah, a Shiite militant group supported by Iran, which vowed to resist Israeli occupation. Hezbollah quickly gained traction as a formidable force, employing guerrilla tactics and engaging in asymmetric warfare against the IDF. The group's influence extended beyond military engagements, becoming a significant political player in Lebanon. The prolonged conflict with Hezbollah eventually led to Israel's unilateral withdrawal from southern Lebanon in 2000, ending an 18-year occupation. The 2006 Lebanon War marked another major confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah. Triggered by the capture of 2 Israeli soldiers by Hezbollah, the conflict lasted 34 days and resulted in significant casualties and destruction on both sides. The war underscored the ongoing volatility of the region and the challenges posed by non-state actors like Hezbollah, whose influence continues to shape the dynamics of Middle Eastern geopolitics. Section 6. Palestinian Intifadas and the Struggle for Autonomy. The Palestinian Intifadas, or uprisings, have been pivotal in shaping the struggle for Palestinian autonomy and statehood. The first Intifada, which erupted in December 1987, was characterized by widespread protests, civil disobedience, and clashes with Israeli security forces in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The uprising was a grassroots movement against Israeli occupation, highlighting Palestinian grievances and aspirations for independence on the global stage. The First Intifada led to significant shifts in both Israeli and Palestinian politics. It pressured Israel to engage in dialogue with the Palestinian leadership, eventually leading to the Madrid Conference of 1991 and the Oslo Accords of 1993. These agreements marked the first direct negotiations between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, resulting in limited Palestinian self-rule in parts of the West Bank and Gaza and mutual recognition between the two parties. The Second Intifada, which began in September 2000, was more violent and prolonged, triggered by a visit by then Israeli opposition leader Ariel Sharon to the Temple Mount, a site sacred to both Jews and Muslims. The uprising saw intensified confrontations, suicide bombings, and military operations, resulting in significant casualties on both sides. The Second Intifada led to a hardening of positions, increased barriers, and a deterioration of trust, complicating efforts towards a two-state solution. The Intifadas have left a lasting legacy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, highlighting the deep-seated issues of occupation, settlement expansion, and the quest for national identity. They underscore the challenges in achieving a sustainable peace and the necessity for addressing the core grievances and aspirations of both peoples in any future negotiations. Section 7. The ongoing conflict with Hezbollah and the 2023 Gaza War. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has been a persistent source of tension in the Middle East. Since its formation in the early 1980s, Hezbollah has positioned itself as a staunch opponent of Israeli policies, often aligning with Palestinian groups in opposition to Israel. The group's stronghold in southern Lebanon serves as a strategic base for launching attacks against Israeli targets, maintaining a state of perpetual hostility. Over the years, this conflict has seen periodic escalations, often tied to broader regional dynamics. The 2023 Gaza War, triggered by a surprise attack from Hamas on southern Israel, saw Hezbollah launching a series of supporting attacks from Lebanon. This multi-front confrontation showcased the intricate connections between Palestinian and Lebanese militant groups, complicating Israel's security calculations and response strategies. The escalation continued into 2024, culminating in targeted Israeli strikes against Hezbollah's leadership, including the assassination of its leader, Hassan Nasrallah. These actions have further fueled animosity and retaliatory threats, keeping the region on edge. The complex interplay between Israel, Hezbollah, and various Palestinian factions underscores the challenges in achieving a comprehensive and lasting peace in the region. The 2023 Gaza War and its aftermath have highlighted the ongoing humanitarian crises in Gaza, with massive casualties and displacement. Efforts at negotiating a lasting truce have been thwarted by continued hostilities and the deep-seated mistrust between the parties. The situation remains volatile, with periodic flare-ups threatening to spiral into broader conflicts, impacting regional stability and global diplomatic efforts. Section 8. Peace efforts, treaties and accords. Throughout its history, Israel has engaged in various diplomatic efforts to achieve peace with its neighbors, resulting in several landmark treaties and accords. The 1979 Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty marked a significant breakthrough, as Egypt became the first Arab state to formally recognize Israel. Brokered with the help of the United States, The treaty resulted in Israel's withdrawal from the Sinai Peninsula, setting a precedent for future peace negotiations. The Oslo Accords of 1993 were another milestone, representing the first mutual recognition between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. These accords established the framework for Palestinian self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Although many of the core issues, such as borders and the status of Jerusalem, remain unresolved. The accords did lay the groundwork for subsequent negotiations and international involvement in the peace process. In 1994, Jordan followed Egypt's lead by signing a peace treaty with Israel. This agreement normalized relations between the two countries, addressing issues such as borders, water sharing, and security cooperation. The treaty has endured as a stable pillar in the otherwise volatile region, highlighting the potential for diplomatic solutions to long-standing conflicts. More recently, the Abraham Accords of 2020 marked a new chapter in Middle Eastern diplomacy, as several Arab states, including the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, established formal ties with Israel. These agreements emphasized economic cooperation and mutual security interests, reflecting shifting regional dynamics and the shared concern over Iran's influence. While these accords have been hailed as a success in improving bilateral relations, they have not addressed the core issues of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which continue to pose challenges to lasting peace. Section 9. Key outstanding issues and recent developments. Despite numerous peace efforts, several key issues continue to impede a comprehensive resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The two-state solution, which envisions an independent Palestinian state alongside Israel, remains a widely endorsed but elusive goal. Political divisions, settlement expansion, and security concerns have complicated its realization, leaving many Palestinians without a clear path to statehood. The status of Jewish settlements in the occupied territories is another contentious issue. These settlements are considered illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this. Their continued expansion has been a major point of contention in peace negotiations, as they are seen as an obstacle to the establishment of a viable Palestinian state. The international community has repeatedly called for a halt to settlement activities, but significant progress remains elusive. Jerusalem holds deep religious and cultural significance for both Israelis and Palestinians, with both claiming it as their capital. The city's status remains one of the most sensitive issues in peace talks, with unilateral actions by either side often leading to heightened tensions. The recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital by some countries has further complicated the diplomatic landscape, highlighting the city's central role in any future agreement. Recent developments post-July 2023 have further underscored the volatility of the region. The 2023 Gaza war and subsequent escalations have deepened humanitarian crises and strained international relations. The targeted killing of Hezbollah leaders in 2024 has heightened tensions with Lebanon, illustrating the ongoing cycle of retaliation and conflict. As regional and global powers continue to navigate these complex dynamics, the quest for a durable peace remains fraught with challenges and uncertainties.